Thank you, Dr. Aslan, and thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the invite. And thank you, you introduced me as Syrian, very proud Syrian. And I'm glad today to speak in my capacity as a board member of the women organization in Turkey who works very close with the education, with women education for the refugees, and also as a director of the Interfaith and Peace Building in CRDC, the Center for World Religion, Diplomacy and Conflict Resolution. So today I'm going to talk about the program we're doing in peace building, and later we can have some times for the questions. So women have been impacted by nearly 10 years of conflict in Syria, as you know, and Syrian refugee women are forced to cope in foreign country with limited access to resources. Women have traditionally had reduced access to vocational training in Syria and now face supporting their family, both economically and emotionally, with minimal resources. This leaves women and girls more vulnerable to early marriages, radicalization, or occupation that place them at risk of physical or sexual violence. By providing empowerment and psychosocial support, our organization creates opportunity for these women to regain their agency, influence, and impact their families and communities. In our organization called Tastakel, and we believe in changing in soft power, we have our own staff and volunteer and work with support and collaboration with my university. So we created with the CRDC and George Mason University. We are all committed to making the voice of the Syrian woman heard. And we have graduates who succeeded in being present in local and international negotiations to help develop, in a way, a solution to both immediate challenges and to have a say in creating a lasting political solution to the Syrian conflict. So yes, we teach resilience, empathy, peace building, and mediation. And we're doing this by addressing the psychosocial stresses and trauma that Syrian women have experienced. It enables them to build the confidence and the resilience they need to lead and themselves to empower other women and members of their community. Empathy is core element of their education and activities, as the most effective leaders are those that can represent the entire of their diverse communities, finding unity by celebrating differences and distinctions. The program, our program, is based on women empowerment. We teach conflict resolution, peace building. In the peace building, it's a kind of proactive approach to rethink and work about conflict from peace and cooperation perspective, and to underscore the importance of women active participation in society as a central variable that reduces armed conflict, as we see now in TV, what's happening in Syria. Of course, mediation is part of our own mission, and we believe women can be powerful forces for sustainable peace when empowered with the required skill in mediation and negotiating, governance, and leadership. We believe that our women, they're going to lead Syria tomorrow. They're going to be the leaders, and they're going to get Syria where we all dream about freedom and democracy. We also offer classes about psychosocial, as we talked. In our curriculum, we do conflict resolution, negotiation skills, women leadership, public speaking, peace building, dialogue, and resilience. And I'm glad that my two colleagues talked about resilience. And so many times, we are the teachers, and we teach these courses online. What happened, we have all the centers in Turkey at the border and inside Syria. And we teach all this, we are there to teach them online, like before Skype, now in Zoom. When we talk about resilience, we learn from our student what is resilience is, because they wake up in the morning under the bombs, under the war conflict, but they keep wanting and wanting to learn. We have challenges, and these challenges, the most challenges is war, the war conflict, but most important what happened since March is the COVID-19. And this is what I want to talk to you about it. Because after we learn about the COVID-19, we want to ensure safety and well-being for our staff and students. So, and we comply with the medical recommendations. So what we did, we turned the keeping the student engaged, but in distant learning. We know that it's more difficult in peace education to learn this, in not to have the group together. But we learned that we have lots of challenge in electricity, shortage in internet, but we turn this challenge, all of it, to work for us by being committed to teaching and training, even if the circumstances have changed. We took advantage of the online training by bringing Syrians closer to each other. Before, we have the Kurdish area, we got the Arab area, we got the Druze, like in Sweden, we got a center in the Christian area. But now, since we have everything online, we mix all those students. So for the first time in 9 years, students from north to south, east to west, Christian, Muslim, Druze, Ismailis, Kurd, Yazidis, we mix them. So in every class now, we have mixed of students from a diverse background. So yes, we turn this challenge to work for better, to include our vision in having a dialogue to include everybody. And since, and before the student, they felt isolations, because when we talk about it heart to heart, they say we miss each other for the last 9 years. Now we are together, even online, we are together. So what we did after, we have these programs in 60 hours to have theory in transition justice, human law, we have negotiation, mediation, all this subject we talked about. But we have also 15 hours of practice. This is when the group, they will do some work together. And just want to share with you the last success that one centers, they created this project and they start working on it. It's about how to fight sectarianism. And there are women from all around Syria, from different ethnic groups and religions. So what we did also, we added one of the discussions group is the interfaith and the women rights, media, and we have also the mediation group. In this mediation group, those women from different part of the Syria, from different background, they start writing their own small booklet in mediation so they can distribute it and teach it in the refugee camps and in the IDP camps. So yes, we have the challenge of the COVID. We have the challenge of the war. We have the challenge of the radical groups from all over. Regime bombing in barrel bombs. We have starvation. We have chemical attacks, everything, you name it. But in the end, we turn everything to have classes online, and those women from across Syria, north to south, east to west, they meet and they enter a difficult conversation. They were able for the first time in many years to have deep, meaningful conversation about subject and matters close to their heart, mostly centering around question of how to rebuild society together. This is the women. And this is when you give women education, You empower them and they think about the future in a positive way. They don't think about war. They don't look behind. They look ahead. They look about how to build and rebuild society together, not alone. So despite some of these difficulties and challenges, and switching the classes from physical classes into a new model of our online classrooms, we've been able students to share their stories of conflict and war and have been sharing experiences of survival, coping, and other difficulties. Two, most importantly, sharing their pain and his thinking together of finding ways to support each other and heal together. Three, sharing their success stories and motivating each other to think forward. Four, sharing and coordinating their work and project with our group project. They were able to work together on several projects in different geographical locations, including especially project to combat sectarianism in Syria. Five, in the bi-week alumni lecture event, we have guest speakers for them. So our students, last Sunday we had 200 students online. They organized the event alone. They facilitating, the moderating, the lecture, and running the question and answer alone. From inside Syria, from the refugee camps, those women were able to do it all online. Those women are the future of our society. They are the future of our Syria. And we know the common phrase, knowledge is power. But in our age, we need to think a little differently about this phrase. We need to think of both power and knowledge in a new ways. And there is much easier access to knowledge nowadays, information, and various electronic platforms as we discussed. And the power for state possess nuclear weapons and armies, but real power is not about arms anymore. And it's not about control. Real power comes from the people coming together and working together. It's like what's happening with the Syrian refugees women and IDP women. They work together. And real knowledge is not about science and putting the curriculum for them and make it very complicated in studying, but also how they can make peace, how to end poverty, how to end this conflict that we are here working days and nights in Geneva and everywhere to try to end this war. But those women, they have a vision and they know that they can end this poverty in working together and to protect each other and to protect the environment. So knowledge, how to create sustainable and dignified lives for all of us in this planet. And what I find in our new models, in switching everything on Zoom and mixing all those amazing women together and working every week in an alumni group, that they are working together in this class, offer them more deep conversation. And this is when you start thinking about peace can be very sustainable one day because of this peace education we are giving, not to individual group, but for those group who work together. I'm going to end now and will be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.